embrace the unknown at times. I think saying no closes a lot of doors. Saying yes provides opportunities in relationships, professionally. So, being able and willing to be uncomfortable and step outside of your comfort zone, I think in life in general is a really, really healthy thing.
Jesse Palmer is legit one of the nicest human beings I've ever met. Welcome to the show, everybody. And for those watching, come on. You knew I had to wear my University of Michigan sweatshirt for this particular conversation. Maybe you know Jesse Palmer from The Bachelor. He is the host of The Bachelor. He also appeared as The Bachelor years ago on the show. Maybe you know Jesse Palmer from college football. He's a regular college football analyst. He also played college football at the University of Florida and then went on to play professionally with the New York Giants. Or maybe you know him from Good Morning America. That's how I got to know Jesse Palmer. He was a host there for a couple of years. I can't say enough good things about Jesse. In this conversation, he's going to talk about becoming a dad. It's kind of freaking him out. He and his wife are expecting their first child a little bit later this year. He also gives us some behind the scenes from The Bachelor and also talks about how we can all find success in life and love. And he's answering your viewer question. So without further ado, honestly, the nicest human being ever. Here's Jesse Palmer.
Hey there, I'm Maya Shankar, and I'm a scientist who studies human behavior. Many of us have experienced a moment in our lives that changes everything. A moment that instantly divides our life into a before and an after. On my podcast, A Slight Change of Plans, I talk to people about how they've navigated exactly these moments. Because as we all know, the only constant is change. So let's make the most of it. Listen to A Slight Change of Plans on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Jesse Palmer. I can't believe that we're connecting. I mean, I haven't, so much has changed since I actually saw you in the flesh. You got married, you're having a baby, you're the full-time host of The Bachelor. I mean, there's a lot that's been going on in your life.
There's a lot that's been going on. You were like the nicest person. You were the first person at Good Morning America that really made me feel welcome when we were working together. Really? Back at ABC, it was you. I remember we were having like this lunch on the Upper West Side in the city. And I was like the new guy and I didn't know where the bathroom was. And you were so sweet and so nice.
And I knew where the men's bathroom was. Is that what you're saying?
It's a full circle moment. Yeah, basically. You were very dialed in. You were very dialed in at ABC News.
Oh, that kind of goes into my theory, and I don't want to bury the lead talking about your big break, and you're going to be a dad. Congratulations. But it goes into my theory. I think Canadians, you're from Canada, as I like to say, from Canada. Yeah. And I'm from Michigan, close to Canada. I feel like
you're from South Canada.
South Canada? Okay.
Yeah.
That was my host where I grew up. I don't know. See, you guys at least have a nice accent. Mine was nasally. Michigan accents are nasally. Anyway, my theory is that Canadians are literally the nicest people on the planet.
Well, there's only 19 of us in the world. Like, we're very underpopulated up there. So it's like, it's a small sample that you're collecting from, but thank you. Thank you. We think the same of Michiganians or
Michiganders.
Michiganders.
Yes. And did you like how I wore my Michigan Wolverine sweatshirt? Because we are in the throes of college football season. I know.
There may be a lot of people out there that might think, oh, well, Michigan's been good the last couple of years. Very convenient for you to pull out the Michigan hoodie. But I will say, I'll tell people at home, you've been Michigan Go Blue through and through, even through the dark times. I remember having like off-camera conversations with you. You would try to goat me into bets when you knew you were going to beat the Gators in a football game. And I would never bite.
Never bite. I mean, I don't know if you know this about me. So you're having a little girl. Okay. I fell in love with Michigan football because of my dad. So that's always been like our special connection. I'm excited for you to be able to share that with your daughter. I hope she likes football. I started going to games when I was like 7. So like I saw Tom Brady play at Michigan Stadium against Donovan McNabb, so like I have been going to games. We lived 20 minutes from the stadium. My whole family went to Michigan. Did you know that my first imaginary boyfriend was Jim Harbaugh, who is the current Michigan football coach? I don't have those feelings for him today.
I was a huge Chicago Bears fan growing up as a kid in Ottawa, Canada. Okay. And so I collected Jim Harbaugh cards. The bum chin, I've been very aware of it. He was the bum chin before the Tom Brady bum chin at Michigan.
Oh my
So you're like an OG when it comes to Michigan. Yeah, the Michigan QBs. Yeah, totally. I get it, man. I get it.
I want to talk about, you're going to be a dad. You married the most beautiful woman on the planet, Emily. You guys met at a boxing class, not from The Bachelor. Yes. And you guys are going to have a baby girl. Like, how excited are you to be a dad, especially a girl dad?
Well, first off, yes, Emily is way out of my league. And two, I'm so happy. I'm so excited. I'm all the things. I'm excited. I'm a little bit scared. I deep down was really, really hoping it was going to be a girl. I didn't grow up with any sisters. I got 2 brothers and I have 4 nephews. So I've always thought that I might be the one. I might be the one in the family to help bring a little girl. I did it. I feel like I've accomplished something finally, and Emily and I came through, and it's so great. And I've got to pick your brain down the road as well, because Emily and I, we just catch ourselves having these little conversations throughout the day, talking about our little girl and what's it going to be like. And I already know that I'm done, basically. I mean, she can already have whatever she wants, which I don't think is great, but she'll have me wrapped around her finger already. I'm really, really excited, and I'm really scared, and all the things. I just can't wait.
When I told my husband, John, whom you've met, John loves you. We both adore you.
John's the best. John's the best.
And Emily, he's like, that is going to be a gorgeous child, a tall and gorgeous child.
If she takes after her mom.
Well, you're tall too. Your brothers are tall. You're tall.
Oh, the tall thing I can do, and plus, we can always put hair product in, give her a couple inches. I mean, I'm really 5'8", but with the pomade, it gives you some lift. Yeah. I hope she looks like Emily. Let's just be honest.
She's just going to be a gorgeous child inside and out, because you both are really good humans. Okay, so tell me what excites you. You said I'm excited and terrified, and I think those aren't mutually exclusive ever. I'm still excited about what's going on in parenthood and equally terrified. So what excites you and what terrifies you about being?
The exciting part for me, I really think she's going to help me slow down and just be more present in my life. I feel like for a lot of years now, I've been on the go, and I've been working and traveling and career driven, career focused. I really think this is going to be something that really helps center me. I just want to devote and all my time and my energy and focus into this little girl, and just trying to be the best dad that I can, and to raise a good person. To your point, I think that's what scares me the most too, because I just don't know I don't know what to do. I know that I'm reading books. I'm trying to get advice from people on how to do this. Having a baby, having a daughter, with not a lot of experience, with sisters and things like that. I'm going to trust my instinct as much as I can, and lean on Emily. And I guess, the beauty of this is that we're going to figure it out together and make mistakes together and get it right together. But I just want to be enough. That's the thing. I mean, and it's not like football, and it's not like television where you feel like you can kind of put the work in beforehand and perform. I don't have the same confidence, but I'm just really excited to do it. And to kind of just kind of get into it. So it's sort of all the things, like you said, it's a good way of putting it, that they're not mutually exclusive. It kind of all runs together, and I'm just ready to get it started.
It does. And look, we're going to put our kids in therapy for something, but here's the most important part. I've seen you with kids, like you said, you have a bunch of nephews, but even with my kids, if I would bring them in the studio, you care. And that's the most important thing, that child is going to feel loved. I'm going to send you a really good book that I just bought for John. It's about the importance of a bond between a father and the daughter. So I tell John all the time, and this is not to scare you, but I'm like, Caroline is going to get her confidence and her self-worth and her self-esteem from you. And girls get that from their fathers as early as age 2. So I'm like, don't screw her up. Oh. Okay. But conversely, boys kind of do the same thing with their moms. So I'm teaching my son how to treat a lady. John's teaching, Caroline how to be treated and how to treat a man, and how to be a confident young woman. So I'm going to send you a book. You're going to be a great dad. You guys are going to be great parents, and you care. And I love this generation of dads. You guys are so much more hands-on. And Jesse, you have no idea what you're in for.
I know.
None. So
I know I'm gonna try to be just be in it every single day. And I'm really lucky. I had a great example in both my parents and how they were with me
They're
growing
amazing.
up. And so hopefully I can impart some of that on our little girl.
Yeah, well, I just think you guys are going to be wonderful parents, and you're not going to be perfect, and that's not the expectation. Just love them. So, and you're going to there's no playbook for it. So, okay, now we're going to like situate and actually get into like the meat, and I want to talk about your big break and all of that. So I asked my husband, I was like, what do you want me to ask Jesse? And I'm going to ask you some viewer questions at the end, but John wants to know, because you're so versatile, like people might know you from Florida as being the quarterback at Florida, or, you know, an NFL quarterback with the New York Giants, or the host of The Bachelor. You've hosted like Food Network shows. You have done a little bit of everything. You're a college football analyst. You've done GMA, which is where you and I met. So like when people come up to you, my husband was like, he's so versatile. Is there a secret to being versatile? And also like, how do most people know you? They're like, oh, you're the guy from fill in the blank.
Yeah. It sort of depends on what you watch, I guess, or sort of what your passion is. Because you're right. Is it football? Is it food? Is it Bachelor? Is it GMA? Is it Daily Mail? It's all those things.
Oh, I forgot Daily Mail. Sorry.
It's okay. No, it's fine. It's like
Good Morning Canada. Did you do good?
Canadian?
Did you ever do Good Morning
no.
Canada? You need to do that.
Should have done Good Morning Canada. Good Morning Canada would have been good. I never say Canadians don't say no a lot, and I think that's the same way with me. But I think that's kind of been a big key to my success and sort of self-discovery, is that I put my hand up for a lot of things and try things. And so along the way throughout my career, I've just said yes to a lot of opportunities just to find out if it would be something I liked or not. And I'll admit there were a lot of times where I would sign up to do something and go, man, I'm going to hate this. I'm going to be absolutely terrible at this. And then I ended up doing it and realizing, you know what? I actually kind of like that. I could see myself maybe doing that down the road. Yeah. So, you know, not shutting doors before I had a chance to open them, I think was a big key. And I'm really lucky. I think I'm someone who obviously loves football. I feel like that's definitely my wheelhouse. That's kind of my comfort zone. But I've developed a lot of other passions outside of football that I've been lucky enough to tap into. And that's, you know, I've become more versatile as I've grown older and just matured. And I'm sure we'll get into it. I don't want to bury the lead, but, you know, I think the biggest break I ever had in my life, and it was completely out of my control, was getting drafted by the New York Giants and moving to New York City.
It opened up so many doors. It opened up The Bachelor. So many. The Bachelor opened up everything else, you know, and then it's like a domino effect. So you're growing up in Canada, as we like, and it's Canada. I hope that 19 people in Canada don't get offended, because I love Canada.
They're going to be pissed. They're going to be
so mad. Yeah. They're going to be so mad. I'm sorry.
They're going to throw maple syrup and poutine at you.
I love poutine.
Poutine's so good.
We're totally going off the rails. So how did the big break actually work? Yeah, you went to Florida. You were starting quarterback with the Florida Gators. You were with Spurrier, right? Steve Spurrier?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So how did everything happen, and how did the big break with the Giants happen? Because we know, like, to get in the NFL, it is like you're like less than 1%. You have to perform. Yeah. You know, throughout your college career, you have to know somebody. You have to do really, really well at,
sure.
You know, not tryouts. Why am I totally blanking? It's the NFL Combine.
The Combine. Gosh. Yeah. All the things.
So how did the big break happen?
Well, I mean, first off, you know, growing up in Ottawa, Canada, the odds for me getting a scholarship to play football were really, really small. I worked extremely hard. My dad was my coach. He supported me, and my family supported me so much, and I was so lucky to have that. And just through hard work and perseverance, I got lucky enough and got a scholarship to go to Florida, which was an entirely different level for me. And it was a culture shock on the football field, because the competition was so much better. All of a sudden, I'm playing with all these future NFL first-round picks against unbelievable, like you're playing against Peyton Manning and all these, and this incredible competition. Yeah. But also culturally, going from Nepean, Ontario, Canada to Gainesville, Florida, it took me like a year to come around to that. Just the way people spoke, the food I was eating, the religion that is football. I mean, the thing I loved most about Gainesville was that my whole life I felt like a fish out of water in Canada because football meant so much to me. I was so passionate about it, living in a hockey country. Or when I finally got to Gainesville, it felt like I found my cathedral and I was home.
Yeah,
and that was a thing in itself. I worked, the 4 years in Florida were 4 of the most impactful years of my life. I learned so many life and valuable lessons because I really had an emotional roller coaster through those 4 years playing for Steve Spurrier on the Florida Gators, lots of ups and downs. The thing I'm most proud about is I never quit. And I believed in myself. And again, I had an incredible support system. And I worked extremely hard through the seasons, through the combine, through the pro days, through the Senior Bowl, all the things you do to finally get drafted. And I put myself in a position to do that. But when you choose college and you're choosing where you're going to go play football, that's your choice. I was lucky and I had a lot of offers from different schools. And so, you take control and ownership of that decision in the fork of the road and you follow it. When you get drafted, it is no longer your choice. That's up to other people. That's up to executives, general managers, head coaches, sometimes people you don't even know, you've never met. I remember on draft day being on the phone with the Kansas City Chiefs twice before I was drafted. I almost got drafted by the Chiefs 2 times before the Giants picked me. And I don't play the woulda, coulda, shoulda game very, very often, but there are times where I wonder what would have happened in my life had I not gone to New York City and instead gone to Kansas City. What would that have meant personally? What would it have meant professionally? Yeah. And obviously I'll never know, so I don't stew on it too long. But what I do know is the biggest break I think I ever had in my life professionally was getting drafted by the New York Giants. There's 32 teams in the NFL. I don't know what the odds of that happening were, that it landed on the 125th pick of the 4th round. I'm off to New York, and my life completely changed because I was in a media market. I was given opportunities I may not have had access to in other places. And doors opened up in front of me that have taken me now on this journey to where I am today, professionally, to, like you said, meeting Emily at Rumble Boxing on 20th Street, New York, to all the things. And it was something that happened that I could not control.
That's interesting.
But looking back on it now, I am just so happy that it did.
But you would have never been in that uncontrollable position had you not controlled the way you got there and put in the hard work and the effort. And so, like for you, I think it's a little bit, your big break's a little bit of everything. It's a little bit of the hustle, hard work, and right place, right time, just putting yourself in the right position and kind of luck at the draw, in a lot of respects.
I agree. I think people are afraid of the unknown. They're afraid of not knowing what's coming up. And then so they struggle to say, why am I putting in so much work if I don't know where this is taking me? I think you have to trust that the preparation and the work when it meets opportunity leads to success. That was the case for me in football, just knowing, hey, I'm going to do all the work I need to do to put myself in a position, and then life's going to take me where it takes me. But ultimately, this is where I want to go. And even though I don't necessarily know where I'm going to be living or which head coach I'm going to be playing for, this is something I love doing. And if I trust the process, put the work in, good things are going to happen.
Yeah, that's so good. So what do you tell somebody that's looking for a big break in whatever field they're really interested in? What kind of advice would you give them, Jesse?
Kind of like what we've been talking about. I would say, obviously, hard work is paramount, but also, don't be afraid to try things that you might not be uncomfortable. I think you have to embrace the unknown at times. I think saying no closes a lot of doors. Saying yes provides opportunities in relationships, professionally. So, being able and willing to be uncomfortable and step outside of your comfort zone, I think in life in general is a really, really healthy thing.
Is that why you decided to do The Bachelor 20 years ago? I mean, and here is a New York Giants quarterback living in New York City. You didn't have trouble finding a date. Like, why did you go on The Bachelor?
It's pretty much what you said. Like even back then, I've always just been someone that's just excited about new experiences and embracing the uncomfortable. I'm a very spontaneous person, and I had no idea where that whole thing was going. Reality TV was new back then, and obviously the show was brand new. The show was still back then. This is dating myself 20 years ago. Still
like
trying to figure out what it was.
Ago.
I know.
I was looking at pictures of you from that season.
Oh.
You were still using. I mean, you've been using pomade for decades. I mean, let's be honest, right?
It was it was like a 3-button suit that was way too big.
Oh
yeah, I know.
Gosh,
I know.
Like forever.
And I know. And it's one of those things where I was just so naive. I didn't know how big the show was going to become or the franchise and what it was going to lead to. And this is the part that a lot of people don't believe. People think I went to be the Bachelor anticipating my television career. Like I was going to use that as a stepping stone. I had zero intention of ever getting into TV. I was literally a quarterback on the Giants. I was going to go be the Bachelor and then go right back to being a quarterback on the Giants, which is exactly what I did. I mean, that was a fun thing I did for 3 months and a very interesting and unique, wild opportunity. And then I just went back to being a football player. Unbeknownst to me, years and years later, I'm now having this random full circle moment where I'm hosting the show. But in the moment, I just said yes. And just trusting that I wouldn't make a total idiot of myself while filming, and that things were going to play out. But I never thought that it would lead to everything it's led to, for sure.
Your teammates, I mean, you have to have a sense of humor. You have to be able to take risks. And also, you don't take yourself so seriously. That's what I love about you. Like, I have all the respect, and that's not saying I don't have all the respect in the world for you. I do. But your teammates really got into it too. I mean,
they did.
You're hosting parties. They're telling you who you should pick, who you should give the rose to.
It's like we had viewing parties. We had like Amani Toomer and Tiki Barber, and the guys were all involved. And we just, it kind of became part of our locker room culture because it was the off season and something that we'd all joke about pre, during, post practice. And you're right. That's a good point what you said. If you're going to be the Bachelor, you probably shouldn't take yourself too seriously. You have to definitely be able to laugh at yourself. That's just, I think, important in life in general. I'm a big goober, and I'm completely fine admitting that and laughing at myself. So that certainly helped too, no doubt.
But I think that's why people are drawn to you, like, men and women, because you don't take yourself too seriously. It's very enamoring and charming. Okay, so full circle moment, you just mentioned, no, you don't end up with who you gave the rose to. I can't even remember her name.
Jessica.
Emily. Sorry. Hi, Jessica. You're with Emily. You guys have been married a couple years, expecting your first child. And now you have this full circle moment where you're asked to host the show again. What was that like? I mean, was it awkward? Was it like, because the show at times had some uncomfortable moments, what was it like to step back into that role?
I think a big part of me, because it had been so long since I'd been on the show, I think I just wasn't sure how similar the show was to back in 2004 or how much it had changed and grown. What I found out is the show changed a lot.
Yeah.
Social media happened. Bachelor Nation grew by leaps and bounds. Bachelor Nation, the fans of the show, they're like an NFL fan base. It's a force, and they're opinionated and they're active and they're engaged. Because of that, it's one of the things I love most about being associated and hosting the show, is because there's so many people at home that are just so passionate about it and into it. But I think going back to host it, obviously being in a different role was going to be unique and different. I knew I wasn't walking back into the same environment. So I just really wanted to get into it, to be authentic and try to be as organic and authentic and be myself and not try to be somebody else, and just be on the team. Like, it's like a quarterback joining a new team. Like you're not trying to go into the locker room on the first day and make it all about you and you're the leader and everyone has to listen to you. I just wanted to try to transition and be part of the culture and to try to help it get better. I have to say, I thought I was going to have a lot of fun. I've had way more fun than I thought I was going to have. I've been loving.
That's awesome. I just love seeing you pop up everywhere. And again, that just goes to the hard work, saying yes to opportunities, not taking yourself so seriously. Do you have a different perspective now because you are happily married? You're a soon-to-be dad. And here, like, you're trying to get two people to find the loves of their life. Do you see it a little bit differently now?
Yeah, listen, the me today at my age versus where I was on the show, I know I'm still not a grown up, but I'm way more mature than I was when I did it 20
Yeah.
years ago. And just the way I think about things and just from experiences in my life, I just feel like I'm in a much better place to hopefully help people and give them at least a little bit of advice.
Yeah.
And one thing I try to be really careful of too is that just because I did the show, I was on the show and I was the Bachelor, doesn't mean that everybody's experience was like mine. I think I want to be really careful and appreciative and honor everybody's own journey, because all of our relationships are unique in their own ways. And it's really, this is about them. It's never about me. And so I'm really careful about that. But yeah, I feel like, now having been with Emily for I think 6 years now, and the fact that we're married, all these exciting things are happening and our relationship is evolving and there's just so much love, and having this little baby girl soon, this is why you do it. I get it. For so many years in my life, I was focused on me. I was very selfish, and I'm the first to always admit that. Since I was a kid trying to make it to the NFL, I was thinking about what I need to do, how hard I need to work, and where I need to get and where I was going. And that was something I wasn't willing to ever compromise. And what I've loved about meeting Emily is putting other people first. And thinking about other people. And now that we're going to have this daughter, it's just a whole new layer to that. It's given me more why. It's given me a completely different perspective on what's important in my life, because it's not about me anymore.
Yeah.
It's not just about me. And I'm really excited about that.
In the best possible way. It's going to be such an exciting new chapter for you. I want to take some viewer questions, and you basically answered me. Petra wanted to know how excited you are to be a dad, and Jesse, you've done a great job of expressing that. Salma, this is a legit question. She says, what is your skincare routine, Jesse? Because you look amazing for your age. And I get those questions too. I'm like, are you saying that? I'm going to be 48, but I'm like, at this point, I'm like, I'll take it. So do you really have a skincare routine? Are you rubbing poutine on your face? Maple syrup?
Yeah, Montreal poutine, some smoked meat, all that stuff helps. You should try growing facial hair, Paula, because that helps a lot.
Oh,
you think
I'm
about
Lebanese.
It, like half of my face.
Trust me, I don't have any problem with it.
One of the things that you and I used to talk about all the time, like I have a ton of Lebanese friends growing up in Canada. It's true. It's like, this covers half your face. Half of my routine is basically done. It's easy.
Oh my gosh.
I've learned over years, I've learned moisturizing is very important. And for me, because I'm Canadian and I'm like the pasty white Canadian guy with a lot of freckles, sunscreen. If I could go back and tell like young football player at the University of Florida 2-a-days, wear sunscreen.
Wear it. Mm-hmm.
Dude, like it's just sunscreen and moisturizer. That's something that every football player needs to like put in their program. If you drive Ferraris, I heard that helps your skincare.
Okay, amazing. Maybe it just like lifts your skin back.
Yes. Okay. It's the aerodynamicity or whatever that word is.
Oh my gosh. All I can say as a Lebanese woman is thank God for waxing and laser hair removal and all of that. I shouldn't ask you this, but it's just so funny that I'm going to. I don't know the guy's name because it says LH_218. So y'all, if I'm soliciting questions from you, give me your name so I don't have to read your weird handle. LH_218 says, do you regret not going to FSU? LOL. I'm sorry. I knew you were going to have that reaction.
I actually wanted my degrees to mean something.
Oh!
So the answer is no.
Oh my gosh, Jesse. I love you so much.
Florida, welcome, Paula. I know you guys have Ohio State. Florida has Florida State.
I gotcha.
And it is one of the great rivalries. Mm-hmm. So I say that tongue in cheek, sort of.
Sort of. No, my brother-in-law grew up in Columbus, went to Ohio State undergrad and grad school, and it's definitely put a strain on our relationship. I'm kidding, but no, it's true. It's a huge rivalry. Which, by the way, you got what's your degree in?
I got 2 degrees. One,
okay,
2,
French.
So one I got. I got a degree. Yeah, I got a degree in snowshoeing, and power play killing.
Okay, amazing.
marketing with a minor in education, political science with a certificate of international relations. If football did not work out, I wanted to be an ambassador to Canada. I'm not joking. I was going to try to go live like abroad. And because if you think about it, what's easier than being the ambassador to Canada?
That's true.
We're never getting mixed up in it. It's like the most on the fence job ever.
You're so neutral.
It's so neutral. You just like, could you imagine like living in Paris or living in Rome? Just being like, well, I don't know. Like, what's the policy on the environment? Yeah.
Great.
Sure.
Amazing.
Yeah. Listen, I'll take it back to Prime Minister Trudeau and he can just, I'll let you know what he thinks.
Your master's
you guys have poutine in Rome? Yeah.
That's amazing.
I totally had it sorted if football didn't work out. Just saying.
I'm glad it did work out, but I can see some sort of political future ahead for you. Maybe one day. Or just maybe just the ambassador, okay?
I could be an ambassador, yeah. I could be an ambassador.
Jesse, you are such a delight. I'm so glad that we were able to make this work, even though I had some technical issues on the front side of this. And this is like, Jesse's just so nice. You were awesome just to bear with me. So that's how nice you are.
Oh, you kidding?
Because it all comes back to Canadians being the nicest people on the planet. I really believe that. Thank you,
it's that is our gift to the world.
It is.
Niceness. Yes.
It's a great gift.
And Michigan's gift to the world is an acumen for not being able to set up technology.
You know what? Hey, just relax. We've given so much, so much to the world.
Jim Harbaugh.
Jim Harbaugh. Do we need
Harbaugh.
to say
It
more?
It all goes back to Jim Harbaugh. That's your full circle moment.
It all comes back to James Harbaugh. It really does. Jesse, we're so excited for you and Emily to hold your baby.
Thank you.
Little girl in your arms. You're going to be a great dad. And just thanks for coming on the show and talking about it. Really appreciate it.
I'm really excited. Thanks so much for having me on. It's great seeing you again.
You too. I've just got one thing to say to conclude that conversation. Go Blue. I can't help it, you guys. So many great things to take away from that conversation. And sorry that I totally nerded out about college football. You guys know that I get a little obsessive during Michigan football season. So thank you for your grace. But Jesse, thank you for coming on the show. You're going to be such a great dad. And hey, thank you to all of you watching and listening for rating, for reviewing, for sharing this with your friends and family, for subscribing to the show. Again, we are building this from the ground up. It's a brand new show, so anything you could do to just spread the word, I would be so appreciative, and I'm so grateful for the momentum you guys have already given this show. A reminder, if you have a guest, if you have someone that you want me to talk with, and so we can talk about it, tell me who it is. Okay? I can't wait to tell you about a guest that's coming up in a couple of weeks. And it all happened because someone reached out over Instagram and said, hey, Paula, can you reach out to this person? And we made it happen. Next week, I cannot wait for you to hear from my guest. She has created the life that she wants, and she's going to help show all of us how we can do the same. I am talking to the mother of two and a wonderful entrepreneur, marketing genius, small town girl, the one and only Jenna Kutcher. She and I are going to talk about it next week. Thanks for joining, everybody. Oh, one more thing. Is this still on? Yeah, it is. If you're watching on YouTube right now, hit that subscription button, or wherever you're listening, make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss a beat. And invite your friends. Let's spread the word and let's talk about it.